Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we took on the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs, and we managed to beat them in 6 games. I wouldn't say it was super convincingly, but we managed to get ourselves to the second round and knock out a higher seeded team, which was nice. But you can see basically with this first round matchup, we lost game 1 4-3, or actually not game 1 4-3. Game 1 we won in overtime 3-2. Then we dropped 2 straight games, and I was a little bit concerned at that stage. But then we won 3 straight, most of them being pretty close games. Like you could see that at least 4 of the 6 games were decided only by a goal. So we kind of just had a good edge in terms of actually, like I guess, closing out games in a way. But still, I wasn't really a huge fan of how we won this series, because obviously it would have been nicer obviously to score a lot more goals than they did, but mostly every game we could have easily lost in a sense, other than this 5-2 victory we had. So we're kind of lucky that we're into this next round, considering Tampa was the team that had home ice advantage, and now we're going to be taking on another Florida-based team in the Panthers. And we know the Panthers have been a very good team over the last few years. Last year they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they knocked us out in the conference finals. So this Florida team definitely knows what it takes to win. They have not won a Stanley Cup, I believe, yet in the series, but they've definitely came close, and they have a very good team around them. So yeah, it's going to be definitely pretty tough to beat them. I am going to show you guys our player stats, and then we'll actually look through Florida's player stats as well to see who's been doing what for Florida at the moment. But yeah, Florida's definitely been a good team at this stage. But here's what our player stats are looking like. Let's see. So Boucher's been great, as you can see so far. He's got like the 5 goals. He's definitely been carrying the offensive load for this entire team. As you can see, everybody else on the forward core has 2 or less goals, but it's been a good showing from him. Guys like Lehman have been decent. Jacobson's been a good surprise considering he's in his first season. Wilm was solid. Ahinen was solid. Like, there's a couple players that did really good. Like, I think our offensive depth scoring is very nice to see, but obviously we need to make sure we can get these plus minuses on some players to be much better. Like Coop was a -3 through 2 games, hence he is scratched now. So I'm hoping that we could play a little bit better defensively in terms of that. And then our defensive core also had a decent chunk of points. I didn't really like how Bannock's boys played defensively, so hopefully that improves a bit. And then hopefully our goaltending numbers from Burkhoff can improve a bit too. He has been not terrible so far, but obviously a 912 isn't like necessarily groundbreaking. But if he could get up there to like a 920 something save percentage, that'd be nice. But he is actually, I guess, having currently at the moment his best playoffs yet. But obviously that could obviously change in the impeding rounds if we get to the conference finals and that type of thing. So there's that. Let's take a look at Florida stats though, because I am curious on who's been doing what for them. So yeah, it's mostly been Cesar Gamache. This guy is an insane goal scorer. If you have not seen yet, like the last few episodes, he had 72 goals already, and he's only 23 years of age. He's been very good in terms of the regular season, and his playoff numbers you can see as well. Last year, them going all the way to the Cup Finals, losing in that Finals. Year before that, they lost to us, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. So yeah, he's just been a very dominant player in the postseason as well, with 34 goals in 43 games. So pretty crazy on that front. Ray Courtnall looks like he's been really good. Earl Lindsey. So these 3 guys especially need to be contained. And same with Damon Peterson, considering he's a 92 overall. So I'd say containing these 4 guys are definitely on our main to-do list. Everybody else, and their depth scoring I wouldn't say is the best on paper, to be honest, because after Combs and Porter it drops off quite a bit. So we might be able to get away with having better depth scoring in a sense, but we do need to contain our former guy in Sergeyev, because last year I think he did well against us, if I remember right. From a defensive standpoint, though, Commodore and Whitmore, these guys are very solid. Whitmore is a very good offensive defenseman, and Commodore's a very solid rock next to him, so we got to shut down those guys. Ladikainen, Deming, that type of thing. And then goaltending-wise, Gabriel Degg, he didn't have the best first round for them save percentage-wise, but he was 4-0, so they seem to be able to outscore their problems quite easily, which is not great. So hopefully we can somehow defend against them well and not allow them to win, because they won 57 games this season. So They are definitely a great team. But anyways, let's get into the comments now and see what you guys have to say about our first round win. So the first comment is from Senator Taku, who says, while the lineup changes you made helped, I'm still not fully sold on these teams' ability to be consistent. But as you said, you never know what could happen, and that is true. I'm not really fully sold on our consistency either, but maybe that's a good thing, because maybe sometimes I think you have teams that are inconsistent that somehow find a way to be more consistent in the playoffs. So I'm hoping that our team could just turn around and be very consistent all of a sudden. But at the same time, maybe the inconsistencies will help us a bit, and maybe we'll have a weird looking stat lines through our roster, but we'll find ways to win games. Like we did against Tampa, but obviously it's going to be a tough task against the Florida Panthers. And then the last and final comment is from Flame Husky, who says Caesar and Rome on the same team, and they have the Reichsmarschall. I don't know what Reichsmarschall is, but Florida is officially the history team. I like it. Hope we come up on top. And yeah, I guess technically they are a history team, considering they have when he was saying, let me just go back to their lines or something like that. But Cesar Gamache, and I think there was a guy named Rome on their team, right? Is what he's referring to. Let's see. I think it was on defense. It was Trevor Rome. So yeah, Trevor Rome and Cesar Gamache. Of course, he would find a way to find history into that, because I honestly wouldn't have even noticed that, but he did. So anyways, there's that, and I think we're ready pretty much to go for the start of the second round. So let's see if we can pull off another upset and knock out the Florida Panthers as well, just like we did to Tampa, because obviously if we go to the conference finals this year, who knows what happens. Carolina and Ottawa are the other two teams left in the Eastern Conference at the moment, so we definitely have a tough task ahead of us regardless of who we face in these playoffs, because like I think, if I remember right, I'm not sure about Ottawa and Carolina to be honest, but I know in the Western Conference Dallas is very good, Anaheim I'm pretty sure is solid at this point in time, Seattle too. I'm not sure on Arizona really, but there definitely is some really good players probably still playing in this playoff mix. So anyways, here we go. Let's get into game number one. Florida swept the first round, so can we hand them their first loss? That would be a great way to start off this second round, and hopefully we can find some more consistency in our game here so we can make Satoru Taku happy with the consistency of the team. First period. 3-1 us. Okay, well that's a great start offensively. I was not really expecting that. Obviously, anything can still happen considering there's still 40 minutes left in this game, but Hillman opened the scoring very early on Burkhoff, so it was not the best start in the world, but then Hamalainen scores, Del Rovere scores, and Raymond scores. We're out shooting him 13-11, so it's not like we're drastically outplaying him shot-wise. We've just been able to convert on a couple more chances, so hopefully we just have a good lockdown second period, maybe add one more goal at least just to give us a better chance to close this game out in the third period. Second period. 4-2. Hey, that's okay. Raymond made it 4-1. Gamache scores with 10 seconds left. I don't really like those goals with like 10 seconds left in the period, because they could carry that momentum into the next period, which is not ideal. So we had a 4-1 lead, but that goal from Gamache could spark a comeback for Florida, which I'm hoping obviously is not the case, but the shots are dead even, 24-24. It's a 4-2 game. Going into the third, let's see if we could get some insurance and lock this game down. Don't let Gamache on the puck, guys. He's definitely their best player for sure. One of the better players in this entire series from any team. So, and he's only 23. Imagine what he would do all the way until like his retirement age. Like, it's kind of crazy. And it looks like we are gonna lock them down. Cardwell gets a goal to make it 5-2, and that is the final. Great start for the boys as we hand Florida their first loss of the postseason. They outshot us 39-34, but what a game from Mateo Burkhoff. So Burkhoff making 37 saves in our offense showing up. So that's exactly what I want to kind of see from this team if they want to find some consistency in their game. So Hamalainen from Del Rovere and Willem, Del Rovere from Hamalainen and Booze, Raymond from Cardwell and Booze, Raymond from Cardwell and Ahinen, and Cardwell from Dodge and Colborne. So some very good depth scoring, it looks like, throughout the team. But Cardwell picking up 3 points and a +3 is great to see. Hamalainen, Del Rovere, Raymond, and Booze on 2 points, and a couple guys on 1 point. Why did I say 4 points almost? Any minus guys? Only Ozens, Turnbull, and Boys. Seems like Maddox Boys is always minus. It's kind of weird. And yeah, Mateo Burkhoff had a phenomenal game, and that's what we exactly need from him. Cardwell the first star, Burkhoff the second star, and Raymond the third star. Because if Burkhoff gets shut down, Gamache, we have a higher chance at winning a series for sure. Gamache had 2 points in that game, but the rest of his team didn't show up. So that's a great start to this second round. I think we obviously got to keep the team the exact same after a game like that. Great offense, great defense, great goaltending. Obviously, it could come crashing down in this game too, so hopefully we can find a way to be that consistent team. We've now won 4 straight games at this point in time, which is great. And we've outscored our opponents by a score of, let's do some quick math here. 17 to 9 maybe, which is pretty decent, almost doubling up. So anyways, let's get to game 2 in Florida, see if we could take a 2-0 series lead headed home. That would be a really good way to start off the second round. But I'm already happy that we took 1 game at least in Florida, so it would be nice to get another, but it might not happen. Here we go, game 2 in Florida. Can we take that 2-0 series lead and then maybe have a chance to take some games on home ice as well? First period of game number 2. 1-0 Florida. Okay, so they scored another early goal, but it wasn't as early as last game. Shots are 10-7 in favor of us after 1, so it looks like they're having a good goaltending game compared to last game. And yeah, hopefully our offense could find a way to score in this next period, because I feel like maybe we scored all our goals in that first game and then we're not going to score that much at all throughout the rest of the series. Just a hunch based on prior experience where you obviously score a lot of goals in game 1 and then your team's offense just completely dries up. So hopefully that's not the case here in game 2, but you never know. Maybe we'll have a good second period and bounce back from that 1-0 first period for Florida. Come on, boys, let's generate some more shots and see if we could score some goals. Second period, 3-2. Okay, that's good. I mean, we were down 3-0 at one point. They scored 2 more goals and they were 5 seconds apart. So I don't know what the heck our defense was doing on those plays, but that's not ideal. Wilm then scores to pull us into the game, and he scores again. So Wilm's got 2 back-to-back goals, and we're trailing only by a goal now because of Mauricio. Can Mauricio find a way to tie this game up for us, or can somebody else on the team even tie it up for us? I don't really care who on our roster ties it up, but it would be kind of crazy if Mauricio Wilm just came out of nowhere within natural hat trick. But shots are 21-20 in favor of Florida. We're only down by a goal. Let's see if we could tie this game up and at least get it to an overtime. Penalty kill. Start the third and we kill it off. Nicely done. Don't want to take penalties, boys, and they get a power play goal. See, that's exactly what I mean. We don't need to take penalties in this third period. We need to be more disciplined. Power play for us, we don't score on it. Still trailing by a pair of goals. It looks like it's going to be a little bit too late for us to catch up here. That's unfortunate. And the Florida Panthers are going to respond from our 5-2 win with a 4-2 win of their own. Final shots were 34-34, so their goaltending played much better. Burkhoff still had, I'd say, an okay game, but I don't really like that we took a penalties, or multiple penalties in that third period, because that kind of killed our momentum a little bit that we got late in that period. So yeah, it was just Wilm from Ozens and Boys, and then Wilm from Ozens and Layman's. So just Mauricio Wilm showing up with his 2 goals. Any battling minus guys? Turnbull was a -2. And I guess Burkhoff actually wasn't the best. I thought he would have been better stat-wise, but an 882, not ideal, considering he just had a very good game the day before. So Dag gets first star, Salo the second star, and Mauricio the third star. So Gabriel Dag is starting to play pretty good here, it looks like, which is not ideal. But we did win 1 game in Florida, which is nice. Now we need to be able to win at least 2 of these games. Maybe not. Well, not at least 2 of these games. At least 1 of our games on home ice. Because winning on home ice would set us up for a good spot. But obviously, if we lose both games on home ice, that would be very detrimental. I might make some adjustments already. I know we've already won 1 game technically in the series, but I want to make sure that I'm trying to find the best combinations possible for this team. We could call up guys from the AHL if we want to as well. But Booze is more offensively driven. Sexsmith was a power forward. I don't know if there's anybody that I would take out of the lineup on this team. From like an offensive standpoint, we don't really have a lot of minus players in our lineup. Like you have Ozens who's minus, Hamalainen who's minus, Del Rivera who's minus. Trying to think of what we could do here. Ozens hasn't really particularly fit that well on the top line. He has okay a little bit. What do we want to do? This is a tough decision. What if we swap Lehman and Hamalainen just to make it more balanced from a +4 and a +3 to a +4 and a +4? We'll try that. From a defensive standpoint, ooh, yeah, that top 6 pairing keeps on getting destroyed. I don't like Maddox Boy's play at all in terms of defense. I wouldn't scratch him, though, because of the fact he's a higher overall, but we might have to at some point. I think Turnbull was -2 through how many games? 9 games. Wait, is that through 9 games that he's actually played with us in the playoffs? No, 5 games. So that must be combining AHL stats. Yeah, it is. So he's a -1 only through 5 games, which isn't as bad. I know that Mangone wasn't doing what. Or Mangone was what? Mangone was actually plus. I didn't even realize. We're going to get Mangone back in over Turnbull just to see if that helps out anything. Mangone is a DFD, which means I'm going to put him on the left side, Boys on the right side. Once Kolesnik returns from injury, that will probably help us out a lot defensively, but Kolesnik isn't back still for quite a while, I think. I don't remember when he's supposed to return. I actually should take a look and see if he'll be back for this round. I don't think he is. I think he would be back in like the conference finals if we get there. Like his injury is one that might end his career pretty much. Yeah, he's not back till the 17th of May, so he's not going to be back for like over 2 weeks at this point. So yeah, we will not see him this entire round, which kind of sucks because he definitely could help out our defensive play. Maybe that's why we're kind of struggling here defensively in this playoff run, is because of the fact we don't have him. But at the same time, he is an old D-man, so he might not be that good anymore in terms of playing defensively. But anyways, we're heading home on to Game 3. Obviously, we took a game in Florida. Now it's about taking advantage of our home ice and hopefully giving us a chance to win the series. So let's see what happens here. Game 3 on home ice. Can we get a response to that 4-2 loss? And can other guys score on this team other than just Mauricio? First period, 3-2 Florida. Not great defensively, good offensively, but Gamache scored early on again. So it seems like we have a trouble keeping the puck out of the net early in the periods. And also late in the periods too, actually, for that matter. Lehman and Richter gave us the lead, but Hillman and Costi give them back the lead. So we've been trading the lead, it seems like, with the Panthers right now. Shots are 16-12, so we gave up a lot of chances in that first period. I wouldn't really fully put that on Burkov. I think we gave up way too much shots in that opening period. But at least we had a decent amount of our own as well. Hopefully we have a better second period that's a bit better defensively for our team, and hopefully we can find a way to tie this game up because there's still a lot of time left in this game to potentially get that lead back. Second period, 4-4. There we go. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Hillman made it 4-2, so they were up by a pair of goals. Booze scores and Ozin scores, and we're being outshot 30-21, but we are tied at 4. This is a pretty close series so far up to this point. I mean, game 1 wasn't really that close. Last game was, I'd say, pretty close. And in this game is definitely being the closest of the bunch. Shots are 30-21, and we are tied at 4. Can we find a way to get that lead in the third period? We have not had the lead since the first period, but we've bounced back from a 4-2 deficit. So we definitely have the momentum on our side. Let's see what happens in the third. Come on, boys. You got this. Actually, it was some one times. Why was that at one times? Hey, Ricardo Richter gives us our lead. Let's go, 5-4. What a response after being down 4-2. Penalty kill. Nicely done, penalty killers. Come on, guys. You got this. I believe in you. Final 5 minutes of this third period. A big goal there from Bernard Boucher puts us up by a pair. Gamache pulls them within 1, but we are going to hold them off in a 6-5 game. So not sold on our defensive play in that game for sure, but we managed to escape. That was a kind of a crazy back and forth game, and we get the victory because, yeah, we're down 3-2 after 1. Then we were tied at 4, and we win 6-5. They almost got back late into the game because of Gamache, but a huge win for the boys on home ice to give us a 2-1 series lead. Hopefully we could take advantage of next game as well, because I would obviously set us up for a good spot. So Lehman from Wilman, Ahinen, Richter from Raymond, Booze from Ahinen and Richter, Ozins from Hamalainen and Wilm, Richter from Lehman and Boucher, and Boucher from Del Rovere. 3 stars of the game. Ricardo Richter had 3 points in that game, so shout out to Richter. Gamache, the second star, had 4 points for them. Yeah, Gamache is definitely the guy that drives their offense for sure, and Boucher, the 3rd star. Let me take a look at the plus minuses throughout our lineup here. Ooh, okay, Cracknell and Flood got beaten up a little bit, looks like. And a couple of our superstar guys like Wilm got lit up a little bit too. And yeah, Burkov was not really that great in that game again, but I don't really know if I would put it fully on him. I think our defensive play hasn't been there, and that's the main problem. But yeah, Burkov definitely has been struggling these last 2 games. So our AHL team is on to the next round apparently. They will be taking on the Hershey Bears, who are also 6-1 in the playoffs, just in case you guys wanted an update with that. So there is that. Okay, do we want to keep the team the same after a game like that? I think we must. We've been scoring pretty well here in this second round. We've now scored a total of 13 goals in 3 games, but we've also given up a total of 11 goals, it looks like. So, yeah, this has been a very close series. I think we got to keep the team the same and hope that we could ride momentum from our goal-scoring ability in the last game. But hopefully we can have one of these games sooner or later that we play good defensive hockey in, because we obviously can't just keep outscoring our problems forever. Like, we're definitely still showing that inconsistency that Saturn Taku's been mentioning, where we could play good offensively for a game, but then the other games we get blown up offensively instead. So let's keep the team the exact same and head into Game 4 and see if we could take a 3-1 series lead. And hopefully Burkov could have a good response to his game last game, because it was not really the best on paper, and hopefully our defense also plays better in front of him. First period of Game 4. It is scoreless. That's actually exactly kind of what I want to see. I won't want to see too much offense going in the first period, because obviously that means that we're going to have to outscore them. But right now, good, nice defensive period, good response period for Burkov. 15 saves in the opening period. We didn't score any goals on 14 shots, so very even period for both teams. Who is going to be the one note to break the deadlock? Second period. It is still scoreless. Okay, so after we had a crazy offensive game 6-5 where we won, we're now going to have a defensive stalemate here, it seems like. Shots are 26-23 in favor of Florida, but it is an even 0 game. Nobody has scored so far. Who is going to be the guy to break the ice? Let's shout out to Mauricio and see if he will do anything for us, because we know he could live in these big moments. So let's see what happens in the third. Nobody has scored so far. Who wants to be the first one to do it? Come on, guys, we got this. Mauricio, Lehman, Ahin, and somebody. Power play for us, we didn't score on it. I wonder how much penalties have been in this game so far, because probably there hasn't been a lot if no team hasn't scored yet. Final few minutes, and we are going to overtime in a 0-0 deadlock. I don't think I've ever been to this point where there's been both goalies have not allowed a single goal through the 60 minutes. Like, if you're at this game, you would see obviously a ton of chances, but it seems like both goalies are just completely robbing people. Shots are 39-35 in favor of Florida. This is a massive overtime. Obviously, if Florida scores here, we are tied at 2, and then it's best of 3. If we score here, we are 1 win away from the conference finals again. Can we find a way to get that OT winner, and who wants to be that guy? There's got to be somebody on our roster that wants to score that OT winner. I just don't know who would be that guy. Like, maybe it's going to be randomly Cardwell or Boys, somebody on the defensive core. Maybe it could be a fourth line guy. Who knows? But let's see if we could find that OT winner and get ourselves that win. Come on, boys. You got this. Do it for the fans. We're on home ice for a reason. Let's get a win on our home ice power play opportunity. We do not score on it. Damn, that sucks. That was a missed opportunity, and Florida scores in overtime. And of course, who it is, it's Gamache. Final shots were 44-41. Burkov did everything he could for our team in that game, making 43 saves, but we could not score on 41 shots. That was quite the game, and I am kind of mad that we managed to lose that game, but I would definitely want to see more defensive play like that or more goaltending games like that for our team down the road. But obviously it would have been nice to score a goal after we just scored 6 in the last game, but holy crap, no goals all the way to 8-13 of overtime. And it's Gamache with his 9th of the playoffs. And looks like Florida took a lot of penalties in this game. We only took 1 penalty, which is pretty impressive. But they took 4 penalties, and we weren't able to capitalize on any of them. So our power play might need to be a little bit better here. And who was out there for that game-winning goal? Richter, Jacobson, Dodge, Carbone, and Booze. Yeah, 977 save percentage from Burkov. So both goalies are going to get 3 stars for sure. Day gets the 1st star, Burkov the 2nd star, and Gamache the 3rd star. That was a pretty crazy game. I don't know if that game would be super entertaining based on the goaltending performances, but holy crap, a 1-0 OT loss. I don't think I've ever had a game like that in the playoffs ever in my lifetime in this game, so that's interesting. Okay, so we have a 2-2 series, which is not ideal. So now it's a best of 3, and we're heading to Florida, which is not ideal. So do we want to find a way to get our offense to do a little bit better? Maybe we'll address our power play unit, considering the fact it did not score any goals on 4 attempts last game. So let's see what we could do to maybe readdress it a little bit here. Maybe we'll move Raymond to the second power play unit. Yeah, we'll move Raymond to the second power play unit. I am going to throw Mr. Cardwell on the defensive core on that one. And then I'm going to throw Raymond back onto this one, just to kind of change things up a little bit. And I think that's the only change I'm going to make. Who knows, maybe that'll help, maybe it won't. But yeah, that was a good game, really good game from Burkov. He's got a .917 save percentage, so he's doing what he can for this team now. And do we want to make any adjustments to the rest of our roster going into this game? Because obviously whoever wins this game is 1 win away from the next round. I don't think there's really much I can do. There's a couple guys that are -3, but they're not guys I would scratch, to be honest. So, Boys is only -3 now. Looks like the defensive play is pretty decent now on this team, to the extent. It hasn't been consistent, that's the only problem. Trying to think of what we want to do here. We could always try something more random again and go Boucher, Wilm, and and Hamalainen. And then we could probably go with Delarovere, Ozens, and Lehman. Yeah, let's try some random stuff with our offensive core. As obviously, I like that we scored 6 goals a few games ago, but I don't like the fact that we didn't score a single goal last game on 41 chances. So we need to be able to convert, and hopefully those line adjustments could help some offensive consistency a little bit. So let's see what happens in this next game. This is crucial for both teams. We're into Florida. Whoever wins this game will be 1 win away from the conference finals. Or they'll obviously have an opportunity to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, so we'll see what ends up happening. Can we get it done here in Florida? Let's see if we have a response. First period, 1-0 us. That's a good start. That's a good start. It's actually kind of similar to last game where there was no goals, obviously, in the first period, but this time around we were able to score a goal earlier on instead of not scoring at all. So it is Marty Cardwell with the goal. 4 minutes in, shots are 12-10 in favor of us as well. I'll take that first period for sure. And that means Burkov's had 5 straight really good periods. Like, that OT was technically a good period, even though he allowed in a goal. He's been very lights out the last little while. Hopefully, we could find a way to get some insurance for him so he could feel a little bit more safer when he does have to make some saves. Second period. Oh my goodness, what the hell? Holy crap. Why do we have games like this in this series? I swear, there's been like so many weird games where it's just like, where the hell does this offense come from? Hamalainen makes it 2-0, Dodge 3-0, Mangone 4-0, Boucher 5-0, Richter 6-0, Ahinen 7-0, and then Combs makes it 7-1 with 30 seconds left. I was not expecting that. When you're up 1-0 after 1 period, do you expect to score 6 goals in the next period? Probably not. Probably not. They have their backup in net too, which is crazy. So, what a crazy turn of events. Looks like we should be able to win this game unless the game wants to completely cheese me out of this. 7-2 shorthand goal from Whitmore. That's back-to-back goals now for the Panthers. What a crazy game this has been. But obviously, I hope that our offense could kind of do the same thing again next game, because obviously we haven't found that consistency at that offensive level net yet. Gamache makes it 7-3, and Reinhardt makes it 7-4. Likely, yeah, that was not great. I don't know if I would like that game too much. I'd really like that second period, but that third period and after, like, we let them kind of come back in the game almost a bit. Like 4 unanswered goals, not really a fan of that, but we do win 7-4. And we are 1 win away from the conference finals after a kind of a crazy game, I'd say. Definitely like the offense, but the rest of, like, the fact that we allowed 4 unanswered goals Kind of makes my team look like they kind of just sat back a bit, which is not great. So, Cardwell from Del Rivera, Hamalainen from Boucher and Wilm, Dodge from Jacobson and Colborne, Mangone from Dodge and Jacobson, Boucher from Jacobson and Ozens, Richter from Ahinen and Cardwell, and Ahinen from Cracknell and Richter. Let's take a look at these player stat lines. Jacobson had 3 assists, couple guys on 2 points, a lot of guys on 1 point. A lot of players on the team had points except for 5 guys. And then, yeah, Burkov wasn't the best. But I don't know if the team just sat back after we had that 7-0 lead. Something like that. Ahinen gets first star, Cardwell the second star, and Boucher the third star. Kind of weird that Ahinen had 4 hits, considering he's not a physical player. Dodge is losing morale because of ice time. I don't know why. He shouldn't be complaining, but he is apparently. But anyways, we are 7-4 in the playoffs. We just came off a 7-4 win. If we win one more game, we're on to the conference finals. If we lose 2 games in a row, though, which could happen based on how inconsistent this team is, we will be eliminated, which is not great. Yeah, we've definitely been so inconsistent. Like, I kind of like how inconsistent we've been. Maybe we've actually been consistent when you look at it this way, though. Like, we've been so consistently inconsistent. Like, look at this. 5-2 win and a 4-2 loss. Kind of reverse roles. 6-5 win and a 1-0 loss. 7-4 win, then what happens here in Game 6? So, I think we got to keep the team the same for the next game, but I hope that we could shut down the game better if we do have the lead instead of kind of letting them claw back into the game. So, we're back on home ice for Game 6. Can we close out the Panthers and head to the conference finals? Or are we going to be going to a Game 7 back in Florida? Come on, guys. Show me some consistency in your game. Play a little bit better defensively, though. And that would be nice. First period of Game 6. 1-1. I'll take it. Salo scores for them on the power play, but we also get a power play goal from Raymond. So our power play has scored 2 goals in the last 2 games since making those adjustments, so that's nice. Shots are 12-10 in favor of Florida. Okay, not a bad first period. Pretty even first period for that matter. Can we find a way to grab that lead? Because we have not had the lead yet in this game. Second period. Still 1-1. This is a much better defensive game. I like it. But obviously, we still have a lot of ways to go. Shots are 23-20 in favor of us. It's a 1-1 game. We are definitely showing that inconsistency on our offensive front, though, quite often. Because we scored 7 goals last game, and now we're at 1 goal through 40 minutes. And in the game before that, we didn't score a single goal. So, I don't really know what to make of this team right now, but let's see what happens in this third period. See if we could find a way to get that lead. Come on, boys. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Just don't take penalties, please, guys. That's all I ask. Be disciplined and find a way to get the lead. Porter gives them the lead. That's not great. Can we answer back with a power play goal? No, we cannot. And Reinhardt makes it 3-1. Oh, boy. The inconsistency is still showing. We scored 7 goals last game. Lehman pulls us within 1, but they get the empty net goal rate back. We lose 4-2. And unfortunately, we're going to be going to a Game 7 back in Florida. I feel like we're definitely going to lose in Game 7, but this has been a very weird series. We've definitely shown so much inconsistency in our offense especially, but also our defensive play. Raymond from Jacobson's and Ozens, Lehman from Del Rivera and Cardwell. Okay. How good was Burkov's stat line in that game? That's Florida's stats. Why did I go to Florida's stats? 900 save percentage. I mean, it's respectable, but it's not crazy good either. But, that was not a good third period. It's not ideal. But, yeah, this has been really inconsistent. Like, it's been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And who knows if it's going to continue on that trend, or are we going to lose 2 games in a row for the first time in this second round. It's so weird. I need to make some adjustments, I think, but I don't really know what. Because if we don't win this game, we're getting knocked out in the second round. We win this game, and who knows, Mauricio's career might last a little bit longer, potentially. I think regardless, I'm not going to look at retirements in this episode if we get eliminated. That's for sure. So let's go back to what we had before. So these lines, I think. Actually, we'll go with these lines a little bit, I think. Trying to think of what else we could do here. Colburn's been pretty damn good. 6 points. He's got as much as Richter, but not going to make any adjustments there. I think we got to keep this the same for the most part. Let me look at the plus minuses. The top pairing's been pretty good. Mangone's been actually really good defensively, so I'm even going to move Mangone up. And then Karakino will play with Boys instead. And then from a goaltending perspective, obviously Burkhoff's still going to be in net. He's up to a 9-12, or back down to a 9-12, I should say, which is, I'm pretty sure, where he was before the series ended. And look at this. Kolesnik, who is injured, has dropped down to a 79 now. So yeah, I think Kolesnik's retiring at the end of the season for sure. So hopefully we can keep this going a little bit longer so we can actually see him return to the lineup, because if we don't win this game, there's a chance he retires and he never gets to play a playoff game this season. So let's get to this all-important Game 7. It's going to be a real-time simulation. We win this game, we'll probably get to see Kolesnik next round. We lose this game, the season is done, and there could be a lot of pending retirements, which is kind of scary. So this could be the downfall of the team potentially, which is not ideal. Come on, guys. We got to do this. Do it for everybody that could be retiring this season. Do it for them. Let's win this game. Let's get a good, consistent offensive effort. Let's play better defensively in some stages. Let's do it. Cordnall opens the scoring in Game 7. Not ideal. It's another early goal against. That's like the third or fourth time this series. Do we have a response to that? Penalty kill. Nicely done, boys. Oh my goodness. Maltby makes it 2-0, but we do have an answer from Del Rivera to make it 2-1. That's good that Del Rivera had an answer for us, because obviously that does get us back into the game, but Reinhardt makes it 3-1. Burkhoff's having a very tough first period. We're down 3-1 after 1. We need a huge response in the second period. Like, I mean, 1 or 2 goals in that second period, and we need more shots. Shots are 13-12 in favor of us, but we're down by a pair of goals. If we can get a goal or two back in the next period, that will definitely help our confidence a lot. But if this stays the same going into the third period, I don't really like our chances at all. Let's see what happens in the second period, see if we can claw back into this game. But the inconsistency is definitely showing with this team right now. Oh my goodness, of course Sergeyev had to score in a game like this to make it 4-1. Well, it looks like we're going to lose in this round for sure, considering it's now 5-1. There's the inconsistency, and it has never been more clear that this team is inconsistent. Well, that is not good. 5-1 for Florida after 2. We should have been able to close them out last game. That one game that we lost in overtime, 1-0, if we would have just scored that overtime winner, we would have already been done with this round. But we had to let them live a little bit longer. It's not great. Let's see what happens in this third period. But we're down by 4 goals. Lehman scores early. That's nice to see. Will makes it 5-3. Oh my goodness, Lehman makes it 5-4, please. Oh, Hillman makes it 6-4. I thought we might have been able to come back, but that Hillman goal is not a good one to give up. Come on, boys, please. Give me another 2 goals. I think we just ran out of time here. Good third period for the most part, but that Hillman goal definitely hurts us a lot. Yep, Lindsay scores, makes it 7-4. And it wasn't even an empty net. And we're going to be packing our bags in the second round in 7 games. That's very unfortunate. I think Florida's going to go on to win the Stanley Cup, to be honest. Final shots 33-31. But we were that close to coming back in the game. And then, of course, that Hillman goal maybe took the life out of her team a little bit. Damn, man. That sucks, considering that might have been the last time we see Mauricio playing. But I don't think it will be. I think he'll be probably back for another season at least. Del Rivera from Lehman and Ahinen. We had Lehman from Ozens and Boucher. Wilm from Del Rivera and Booze. Lehman from Ahinen and Wilm. And we also had nobody else. So Lehman picked up 2 points in that game. Or 2 goals in that game. A lot of the old guys that could retire picked up points in that game. So interesting on that note. 3 points from Lehman. Del Rivera had 2 points. Ahinen and Wilm had points. So the old guys definitely did not want to lose, but the young guys just let it happen. Oh, well, I know a lot of people are going to literally just like shit on me in the comments now. Felipe Flood was a -6. How the heck do you go -6 in a game? Mangone was -4. He was doing great defensively up to this point. But Felipe Flood a -6? What in the trash bag? He was nowhere doing that bad beforehand, but apparently he just got completely destroyed in this game. What in the hell? Okay, I don't think I've ever seen a plus minus like that. Like, let's take a look at the goal chart. So he was out there for literally every goal except for one. And all these goals were spread out too, so he was just very unlucky to be on the ice. God damn. 3 stars again game, Lindsay, Lehman, and Pedersen. Wow. Okay. And yeah, the 788 from Burkov is not going to win me games either. So Burkov was very inconsistent. And also that played a factor for sure. What a really weird series. We had a 7-4 win and we also had a 7-4 loss. I don't even really know what to make of that round at all. Let's take a look at our player stats, and then we'll probably sim up to see who wins the Stanley Cup. But I don't know if we'll do retirements yet. I feel like we should do retirements in this episode still, but at the same time, I'm kind of scared because I don't want to lose anybody. I feel like we're going to lose Kolesnik for sure, but I don't know about the other guys. William was point per game. Boucher was just under point per game. Like, we had really good offensive depth scoring, but when you look at the plus minuses on probably a few guys like Ozens, for example, not great. Hamalainen, not great. But yeah, the offensive depth scoring was pretty good. But obviously we need to be better defensively. And yeah, Felipe Flood was an even 0 before that game. So that worst possible game, he was like a -6. He was actually a +1 going into that game. What are the chances, man? Booze was somehow a +7, which I don't know how, but I will definitely take it. And yeah, Burkov's stats just completely jumped up and down all the time in that series. Like, it was up to a 917 at one point. Now it's down to a 902. How much more years has he signed for? 2 more seasons. And then we also have Zadorov. Zadorov might be able to take over as our playoff guy at some point. How's the AHL team doing right now in the next round? Looks like they are currently tied at 2. So our AHL team might have a chance at winning the Calder Cup this year, which would be nice. But obviously the Stanley Cup would have been better. Okay, let's simulate up, I guess, till the awards and all that stuff. I guess I will wrap up the season, even though I didn't really want to do it yet. But I will do that in this episode. So, Kolesnik's back from injury, which means we're going to have to send down... who was it that we have to send down? I think it was... Yeah, we'll just send down Mangone. He doesn't even go through the waivers right now because it's the playoffs. So it doesn't matter. Oh, the AHL team did get eliminated, I think. I think the AHL team got eliminated. Let's just go best lines on that front. Yeah, I think the AHL team got eliminated in the conference finals, which is unfortunate. And yeah, the Florida Panthers do go on to win the Stanley Cup. You can kind of see them trending in that direction to win a Stanley Cup over the last few years, so I do understand why they won the Stanley Cup, but we're that close to being maybe the team that would have won the Stanley Cup. San Diego wins the Calder Cup. Goddamn. So Florida getting the Stanley Cup. So shout out to Cesar Gamache, who's 23 years old. Sergeyev does go on to win a Stanley Cup with them, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, obviously, I would have liked Mauricio to win a Stanley Cup instead. Let me see those Florida Panthers stats. Yeah, Cesar Gamache went off. He went absolutely off. And then, yeah, there's a Stanley Cup win for Yuri Sergeyev. Shout out to him. But who did Florida beat in the Cup Finals? They beat the Dallas Stars, who I believe are the defending Cup champions, if I remember right. Let's see. No, not the defending. They won a couple years ago, though. So Florida wins the Stanley Cup. You had Dallas, who won the President's Trophy in the Stanley Cup Finals. That was their second Cup Finals in 3 years. And yeah, Florida's been to back-to-back finals. And they were definitely trending in that direction to win a cup. Landon McGrath, the Art Ross, and the Hart Whitmore wins the Norris for Florida. Alos wins the Lady Byng for Seattle. Ozens did win the Calder, so shout out to Ozens winning the Calder. Love to see it. Obviously, he's a big part of our future, considering we might lose guys to retirement. Gamache to Conn Smythe, Dag the Vezina, and the Jennings. Obviously, last year, Burkov won it. Jacobs wins the Masterton. Nemechek, the Adams for Anaheim. Nichols, the Selke. McGrath, the Lindsay. Gamache, the Richard. In terms of the AHL, any awards for our AHL team? Yes, Colburn was the best rookie down there in the AHL. And obviously he got called up to play in our playoff team, so it's pretty nice. Coscaranta was the best goaltender in the AHL, which is a goalie that I didn't even draft. That was a goaltender that the AI automatically signed us, which is kind of funny. So shout out to that guy. But there is the awards. Now I think we will definitely take a look at the retirements. I know this episode's been 44 minutes, but we are going to take a look at the retirements in this episode. I was probably going to leave it to the next episode, but at the same time, I just want to get to it. So let's rip the Band-Aid off and see if we lose anybody. But Buffalo has the first overall pick, followed by Colorado, San Jose, who moved from 13 to 3, New Jersey, and Boston. Okay, so the question is, did we lose anybody to retirement? Let's rip this Band-Aid off. I don't think we lost anybody on the offensive side of things, which is great. But let's start off with these centers. Just take a look at who retired here. Brendan Bates. Oh, yeah, this guy. I think I remember seeing that guy getting drafted. Let's see. Any former players retire? That would be interesting if there was any former players. Nobody in the center depth, so this might be a weak retirement class, which is kind of surprising. Left wing side of things, Malcolm Spence is retired, so good we won't have to ever face him when he's with Montreal anymore. If we even make the playoffs again, who knows. Braden Toms is retired. Well, shout out to Braden Toms, who retires over 1,200 games. This guy is kind of a crazy player, over 2,200 penalty minutes. And he also had 222 penalty minutes in the playoffs. So shout out to Toms. We've definitely seen him before multiple times. Rudolph Petterman retired. Wow. At 36, huh? I completely forgot about this guy, to be honest. But over 1,000 games and 579 points. He was actually really good after leaving us. Like, we didn't have him super long term. Actually, I guess we did a decent amount. But then he went to Toronto and started playing much better. Playing in Detroit, too. So shout out to Rudolph Petterman. Don't know why I completely forgot about that guy, but I did. What else we got here? Any other former guys? Oh, I remember Oleg Kolesnik from, what team was it? Carolina? Yeah, maybe. Kind of crazy when generated guys are retiring. Jack Quinn retires. Lakiri Mackey. We won't ever have to play Consta Hellenius in the playoffs again. Not a lot of guys. So no offensive retirements, which is nice. But did we lose Kolesnik on defense? I feel like we might have. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I knew it was going to happen. So Brant Clark was the best defenseman to retire. Crazy stat line for him. Dragicevic. But Vitaly Kolesnik has decided to call it quits at the age of 37. Shout out to Kolesnik. Shout out to Kolesnik. 438 points in 1,502 games. Obviously not the craziest offensive player, but he had some very dynamic defensive seasons. Obviously his early years, very trash because our team was bad. But you can see here, plus 38, plus 28, plus 39. Like, he has been consistently a very good plus-minus defenseman since those days. And then his playoff numbers, not the best in terms of defensive play, but it is what it is. So shout out to Kolesnik, former 3rd overall pick. I forgot that we took him that high up. So salute to not necessarily a future Hall of Famer, I'd say, but definitely to one of the better long-term defenders we've had in the series. Anybody else? Oh, so Zell Partier. I think I remember that guy. Anybody else that played? Oh, Marian Dimitra. Marian Dimitra calls it quits as well. Forgot about him too, to be honest. He had left us a while ago. He played with the Islanders for a number of years. Played with Colorado briefly. Also played with their AHL team? No, it looks like he got sent down at the end of it. I don't know if he won a cup with the Islanders. I don't think he did, but Marian Dimitra was making a lot of money still in his last year. So there's Dimitra. So another former guy has called it quits. Anybody else? Does not look... Oh, Daniel McLaren at 34 years of age. Damn. Okay. Shout out to Danny Mac. I don't even know if that's what I called him today, but he had 7 points in 13 games as a depth option at 1 point, which is pretty nuts. But, yeah, not the best player in the world. He was actually pretty solid in the playoffs, to be honest. 5 points in 11 games. Maybe we could have utilized him a little bit better, but it is what it is. Anybody else? Nobody there. Goalie-wise. Any former goalies? Don't think so. I recognize Leeson from somewhere. I don't know where, though. Frederick Goalie. Oh my goodness, I forgot about him. The goalie, net the last name Goalie. How did I forget about him? Wow. This brings back quite the memories. He has not played a game since 2029, but he retires at 38. It's kind of crazy. Never played a playoff game in the AHL even. So shout out to Frederick, goalie. And shout out to all those former players that retired of ours. And also to Kolesnik, who's currently on our roster. We did lose a couple coaches, including Banting and Peros, which is interesting. And in the AHL, we did lose 10 Karat, so we will need to look for a couple new coaches. And we also did lose 3 scouts. So if you guys could remind me to sign a USA East, a WHL, and a one for Switzerland, that'd be nice. But obviously, it doesn't really matter probably at this stage, to be honest. So the final few things we got to do is take a look at the contract situation, a draft class, and also our progress reports. So let's start off with the contract situation. Who's up for renewal this offseason? Ahinen's the big one, kind of, but there's not, I wouldn't say there's a huge player up for renewal, but we do have to re-sign all these type of guys. No goalies are up for renewal, but, yeah, Ahinen, Hamalainen, like, if we want to stay competitive, we want to bring these guys back for sure, but this is going to cost us a lot. Obviously, I'd say we would prioritize the defenders over the forwards in a way, but I don't really know. Like, Boys is trying to get still 6.5, which is kind of ridiculous at this stage. Dodge is not trying to get too much, which is kind of nice. Ooh, Flood wants 4.5. Yeah, Flood's probably going to be gone again. Sexsmith could jump to the NHL. So we do have some options, at least in the minor league, that could jump up, which is good. So there's that. Let me actually take a look at our unsigned guys here for a second. We have a couple 74s. So we do have some guys, but we can give some ELCs to, which is good. Love to see it. Okay, next thing, the progress reports and the draft class. So progress report wise, let's see if there's anybody dropping off a cliff. Mauricio's dropping off. Ahinen's dropping off. The guys you'd expect. Boys is dropping off. Lehman has not really dropped off yet, so that's kind of nice. But a lot of the older guys definitely are dropping off, which is Like, what year is Wilm finally going to call it quits? Like, he's going to go into his next season where he's going to turn 39. And how much career points does he have again? 977 goals, 1,988. So he's coming back for another season. We'll hit the 2,000 point mark likely, which is awesome. And then goalie-wise, Zadorov's up to an 82. And Burkov an 89 still. So Burkov and Zadorov will be both probably playing well next season. In the system-wise, let's see. Any good growth? Kavanov's up to a 76 at 20. He might end up making our defensive core next season if we lose a bunch of guys, which is nice. But yeah, a lot of guys got some growth, which is good, but obviously some of them are probably too little too late. So there is all of that. And in goalie-wise, Morgan and McCammond got some growth. Okay, final thing is draft class. Is this draft class actually going to be decent? So let's take a look at the draft board. We're not drafting till 27th. Okay. But we're probably not going to get anything that's going to help us in the rest of the series, to be honest. But we might as well take a look anyways. So what's around 27th? There's a meme-only goalie that literally goes right before us. 4 years out, though. Boris Prohorkin, 4 years out maybe. That guy looks kind of intriguing. Yurki Kuda, 3 years out, probably a top 6 defender. Andreidiev, Yeah, his draft class may not be that good. There looks like there's medium 9s going in the late first round, early second round. So that's not ideal. I think these goalies are kind of pointless, even though this one's 3 years out. Mauricio McKenzie, if we want another Mauricio. Let's see, is there any low elites? Because that would be kind of helpful. We don't have a lot of time left anyways to win Stanley Cup, but it would be nice to get some good ones. Burmistrov might be okay, 3 years out. Julius Krause, 3 years out. Some of these guys might not even be tops, low elites. This guy looks okay, Manny Hernandez. Sounds more like a baseball player. Hey, there's another booze if we want our third booze, Desmond Booze. Okay. Well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the draft in off-season. We'll obviously try and maintain our roster as much as possible, but there is a chance that our window might have just closed on us with that loss for sure, because obviously we're going to start dropping off due to age, and obviously we don't have the best prospect pool to replenish those old guys with. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.